Hello and welcome back to the Reapers, another tactical replay for you today. This is Metal Campaign Day 4. First of all, my apologies for all the background wishing noise. I've had to turn the fan on because it's bloody boiling in here. This was Day 4 of the Metal Campaign and it was another really cool mission, to be honest. So Phase 1, well in fact before we go to Phase 1, let me show you what we had to do. First of all, we had Mission 1, which was to protect the Eagle Dynamic Staff. They were flying from 200 plus miles away over here at Bullseye, or I think over there. And they were going to fly in formation, basically in illusions all the way to this area here and park at our base. The Blues mission was to protect them from red incursions, and the red were going to incur from their area here over the mountains and try and shoot the Eagle Dynamic Staff down. In addition, there was a bonus quest as well. Matt Wagner was trapped here or somewhere around here in his Hornet that the choppers had to rescue, but I messed it up with the cloud layer so that he was stuck in the middle of the cloud layer, so we couldn't actually rescue him, so that was a little bit silly. As well as that, we decided in our plan to take the F5s and the F-15 Eagle, which we could afford, to do the escorting of the convoy, and then 3 other guys, 2 Warbirds and a Harrier, to go and do a separate mission to earn some money to bomb Beslan runway and take out the SA-6 at Beslan. Okay, so if it looked a bit weird and kind of out of sync in the movie, that's because the first stage 1 was a ferry. We were ferrying from here, our base, all the way over to here at Sanaki, 200 miles away, and I invited everyone to come, including the Warbirds and the Harrier and everything like that, and even a couple of the red guys joined in for that ferry. Once we got there, then what the Warbirds and the Harrier did was respawn at this base here to do their mission, which was actually over there. So that's why they came on the ferry. So we had a lovely long big ferry. They go 200 miles, landing. We lost someone. Oh, we lost Auntie. Auntie crashed on the way. I think she had to go and answer the doorbell or something like that, and so had to go AFK and so crashed, and so that was it. Never mind, these things happen. That is all of interest there, I think. Warbirds came down, and then and the Harrier came down, and then they respawned over there. Simple as that. Right, then we got to Phase 2 of the mission, which, if you like, was the actual mission. So we took off. So this was 3 of our 4 F5s and Cap in the incredibly expensive F-15, and we went to set off a trigger for the Illusions, and here come the Illusions. They're flying at 230 knots IAS, Angels 25 Imperial, and that's that really. The Warbirds and the Harrier have set off for their mission to go and destroy the runway and the SA-6 at Beslan. Notice the phasing in the takeoff. The Warbirds went out 10 minutes earlier because they wanted to be on scene first, then the Harrier takes off 10 minutes later to coincide with that. That's all I can think of for saying for that. So let's scroll forward to the meet. F5s meet up with the Illusions. The mission, the tactics were tail. Was going to tail them at their level, Angels 25, by a few miles, so he could see anything popping up to intercept them. Atomic and Gas Pipe were just doing general escort around them. If you like, they're kind of bar capping around them within a 10-mile area. And Cap here, because I'm the only one with a decent radar, I was hanging out 30 miles south of the convoy, which turned out to be a little bit harder than I thought, because they're always moving. Here, I had to kind of go in a kind of like a saw blade, like angles like that where my mouse cursor is going. It took a little bit of planning. So I would come out hot at, I'd come out cold at mill power, so I could do a fast cold leg, turn in, slow down, and then do a slow in leg where I would have my radar scanning up and down, up and down, up and down, looking for anyone who was incurring over the mountains. We did not have a GCI, we had no kinds of GCI, so the only way we could see the bad guys would be to pick it up with our radar or with our eyes. So let's carry on. Here come the first red. Now for the 3rd day in a row we've come into a bunch of luck from the reds. They started off with 3 MiG-21s, or they had enough money for 3 MiG-21s, but 2 of them didn't make it. Signore, just didn't turn up for some reason, as far as I'm aware, and the other one just didn't turn up. So all the better for us, happy with that. So all they've got is a casual fighter in a MiG-21 and Chromosome here, or Warren here, flying from the 4th gen base with a F-18. Now they have cocked up a bit. I don't know if I had it in the movie, but what I said is that these red guys should be waiting here at the red GCI line, so that when these guys spawned, they would be ready to come over the line. But they didn't listen to that, obviously, and they've only just taken off. And this is going to be a problem for them, because they've got to get basically to this convoy before they reach the S300 SAM range. And I can't get that to come up there, wherever that is. You see what I mean? Pops up every now and then. Here, so they are restricting time, so they did mess up. Again, all the better for us. It means we can win the mission and get some money. Right, so let's go forward a little bit. Right, so over here, Talon, I'm not sure what he's doing. He's turned around. I think he's realised that he's gone in a little bit too fast, so he's having to orbit to let the warbirds go ahead. The warbirds are now breaking through the cloud layer. Extremely dangerous thing to do. We had multiple people die because of the low cloud level. In some cases, because of the high terrain, you can go through the cloud layer and hit the terrain before you come out of the bottom of the cloud layer. So you've got to be really careful, especially if you don't have a radar altimeter. So these warbirds are doing it all by eye, basically, and they do get through, and they do really well. Whenever we put the two Germans, Trash and Seethor, in a pair of warbirds, they outfly everything, basically. Right, casual fighters coming in now. He spotted these two birds. Luckily, I think he thinks these are the convoy, so he's kind of missed the convoy. No, scratch that. It turns out the red tactics were to send the MiG-21 into decoy to attract the blue fighters, and then they were sending the Hornet in for the actual kill. That's what they actually did. I'm not sure what to look at first. Warbirds are now under the cloud layer, heading to the target. Now, I get constant doubting of the abilities of the warbirds in air-to-air and air-to-ground. Needless to say, warbirds are extremely capable. One of our best types of seeds, anti-radar, anti-SAM aircraft, is the warbirds. They're extremely good. They're very hard for a SAM to shoot down. They can go low. They have a very low radar cross-section. And IR SAMs have all kinds of trouble locking onto their heat signatures, because IR SAMs are not designed to shoot small propeller-driven planes down, pretty much. So they're on the way to do that. Right, we do have combat here. So the first thing that happened is Cap spotted casual fire on my radar. Now I'm burning in, and it's a bit of a cock-up, really. I lost situational awareness and tactical awareness here, basically. So this guy was a decoy, and we fell for it. I fell for it. I went charging off for him. I completely forgot about the Aleutians and how far away they would be getting. Tail carried on with the Aleutians, thank God. But I forgot. I went in to kill this guy. Also, we had a breakdown in communication between the F5s and Cap. Possibly Cap's fault. Because I didn't realise they were so close. I thought they were more kind of around here. Maybe I should have had a quick look at my map to see where they were. I didn't realise they'd got in so close into dogfight range. And that will show later on. Otherwise, I'm burning in 750 knots and just doing my usual attack. Casual fighters coming in pretty fast. And like we said, he's just trying to get people to fire at him. So he's got just close enough to the F5s to grab their attention. Because he had to get close enough to get their attention, but not so close to get shot. So it's a pretty hard thing to do. These guys are going in for their attack. It's kind of hard to know what to watch. I guess we watch this first, and then we'll go and have a look at the warbirds. Tail is carrying on with the Aleutians, all very good. Here is our fight now. So Atomic and Gaspipe, lovely wingman pair. Pretty much good flying all through the match. They're coming in. Now, would it be tempting for them to take shots at 1.7 miles? In fact, they have taken shots at 1.7 miles. I was going to say they might be a tiny bit ambitious. It's just on the outer scope of an AIM-9 P5, and nearly, very nearly. Casual fighter did well. He spotted that, spotted the missile, and had enough energy to dodge it. The missile just didn't have enough energy, so that was a 50-50 there. Whether that was going to be a kill, he's now changed his trajectory. Only problem is that the F-15 is going to catch up with him. I've turned off my burners now because I wanted to save fuel, because I knew I'd have to get back to these guys. Now, gas pipe and atomic are now within Fox 2 range. So gas pipe here was in deadly range. Now he should have shot an A9 and killed this guy, and that would have been problem over. But he didn't. So that's annoying. He's got the speed. No, they're about equal speed. They're both 700 knots basically. The F5s and the MiG-21. Now the MiG-21's superior speed is kicking into play now. That is a Mach 1.7 or 1.8 fighter, I think, or 1.9 maybe. These are 1.6, so it's a lot faster. I've put an AIM-120C out. It's a very dangerous thing to do with these being so close. I could easily go pitbull and lock onto the F5s. So I didn't realise they were so close. Gas pipe's still in deadly range, so he should have shot. That said, he didn't really know how close he was, I suppose. But that's just, I guess, lack of experience at the end of the day. The MiG-21 is eking away now because of its speed. It's got 20 or so knots ahead. He has slowing down though, so that's going to be close. My AMRAAM just didn't have the guts to catch him up. Atomic is peeling off. That's the right thing to do. Atomic is now going to go and join that. Let's just sort that out. Now the interesting thing of the day, that missile is gone and dead. It's out of energy. Now by pure bad luck, gas pipe flies right by it and sets off the fuse. So this has a track computer on board and a track radar which guides the missile to the target. Now that has nothing to do with the actual exploding, the detonating of the warhead. That's done on a completely separate circuit. It's done with a ring of sensors around, or a ring of fins around the kind of the middle of the missile. And whenever it detects, I think it's magnetic, whenever it detects a metal object, I think, coming within kind of 50 or 100 feet along the side, remember when one of these missiles blows up, it sheds a ring of shrapnel, or a ring of little bow ties or whatever it is, around a ring like that. So it basically flies level with the target. The sensor gets set off, the magnetic sensor gets set off, fuse gets set off when it detects something's around the side, as you're about to see. And as soon as this fighter gets alongside, it's going to set that fuse off, set the warhead off, even though this missile doesn't know, the fuse doesn't know about who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. It just sets itself off as soon as it detects some metal passing it, basically. And he passes it there. And as soon as he goes past the side, they set the fuse off, the ring of bow ties shoots out the side and destroys his jet, basically. So there's nothing really to learn there. You won't be able to see a missile when you're in combat. It's just bad luck. I shouldn't really have been shooting Fox 3s when guys were so close, but I lost situational awareness. Now that's all that happens. Gas pipe goes and crashes, and Catcher fighter gets away. So he's done his job. He's lured the fighters away from the actual targets, which are over here. So me as the main fighter, I've lost tactical awareness now because I didn't realise that I had got 40 miles away, and I'm never going to catch up now. I'm never going to make that ground, even in a super fast F-15. So it shows how you can do this, even if only 2 red guys turn up to the match. You can still do the match. If that Hornet had taken off earlier, like he should have, he would have been 20 miles ahead, and he would be nearly reaching the Aleutians by now. So the Reds almost won this. Right, so that's that. We're going to have a look, wind it back and have a look at these guys now. Stand by. Right, we've got the German Dream Team coming in. We've got a Focke-Wulf 190 with guns and rockets, and a Kurwurst with, I think, just guns. Extremely capable plane these are. They can do all sorts of stuff. But Seed is a speciality, and the reasons are they have a tiny cross section, very hard for a radar to lock onto these birds, especially if they're going low, and they are going low. I know it says ASL 2,000 feet, but the ground here is nearly 2,000 feet, so they're on the deck. They're 100, 200 feet basically, and they're going in for kill. For some reason we can't see these units here, but they are there. They're a bunch of relatively small caliber AAA and a functional SA6 with several batteries. So in they come. SA6 has no chance to lock up in time, and guns. And we've got a small hit on one of our guys, but he's okay. Rockets coming out from the 190 and ultimate damage, absolutely destroyed. And on that pass there, that is already the radar down from Seethor, so that's basically all the threat down. They got small caliber fire to come up from these machine guns, but as long as they don't do any really slow passes or anything stupid, they're going to be absolutely fine. And so they just come. I mean, technically they could have RTB'd now, and because they killed the radar, so they've killed the SAM. They could have RTB'd now and double, made safe, but they stuck around, and it's fair enough. Shan't criticise too much because they did well. Back in they come. AAA going up, so they do a little bit of manoeuvring. If you see on the movies, they were wiggling their rudders about just to put a bit of yaw in to make sure these AAA couldn't hit them. And in they go, guns against guns, rockets, and it's another battery down, and up they go again. And here they go again. As long as there's basically no other cap to shoot these guys down, they're pretty much invincible. There's not much that can stop a pair of warbirds, apart from modern fighter jets coming in with missiles at long range and stuff. So really good stuff. It's probably the last pass. They've pretty much killed everything apart from one battery, and that can't fire without the radar. So that is that SAM side down. Now the AV-8B can come in and do its job. Really good. Look, they even perfectly timed it. Notice how they perfectly timed every attack. Coincided to by doing that, it splits the machine gun fire, the AAA fire on each plane, so they only get half as much basically. So the Reds only get half as much defense by doing that. So it's almost choreographed, and then they even exited in formation, performing a nice little love heart for us. So pretty sweet, I think you'll agree. AV-8 comes in. AV-8 makes a mistake. AV-8 has problems getting through the cloud layer, and I don't blame him because he's out of territory here where he can't actually get below the clouds. You can see he's stuck here. If he goes below the clouds any further, he's going to hit the ground. So his radar altimeter is telling him don't go any further down. So what he does is he goes up, and the problem is as soon as he goes up, that S300, which is indomitable and will just kill everything from everywhere, has shot him. I know you can't see the missile. Sometimes the red missiles don't show from SA-10s, just a small bug, but that's it. Got shot down. Simple as that, really. Right, helicopters are on their way, but they can't do the mission because of the cloud, and all that's left is a Hornet, and this is very interesting what happens here. So I haven't seen him yet. He is currently in the mountains hidden, and he's heading towards his target via red GCI. Right, so you can see Cap, I turned there. That's because I've spotted this guy on my radar. Well, maybe I haven't spotted him yet. No, I probably haven't spotted him yet. Now I've spotted him. I'm turning in. He's out of the scenery. Just shows how powerful this the F-15 radar is. He's a cold/flanking target, low down. Almost beaming pretty much at 25 miles, and I've picked him up on my radar. It really is an exceptional radar in this aircraft. Be able to do something like that with a pulse Doppler. So at least I have kind of done my job. Now, interestingly, if I hadn't got carried away earlier on and I had stayed with the formation here, there's a good chance I would never have seen this guy. It's weird how fate works things out. Because I was lagging behind so much, because I got so carried away, that has allowed me to see this guy. He's in my radar cone, my whatever it is, 120 degree radar cone basically. If I had stuck with these guys, I probably wouldn't have picked him up, and he would have got a free ride all the way. So that is interesting. Right, so he's about 20 miles from the Aleutians now. He's full burn. He's going up to 700 knots. Cap's full burn. I'm on my way up to 700 knots. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do when I'm this far away. There's no way that Cap can catch him up, so we vector tail onto him. Tail makes just a small mistake. He sees the bad guy, but he doesn't factor in how fast this bad guy is going. A really good way to escape combat basically is going fast. It's really effective. Go 700 knots. You're very hard to shoot down unless you're going head on at a target, and Tail's about to find that. So what Tail should have done is realise that this guy is moving that way and plotted his course so that he led in front of him. It's very, just as you fire your guns in front of someone, you fire your missile in front of someone, you give lead. When you're chasing, you have to give lead as well, especially after a fast jet. Otherwise you're just going to lag behind and you'll never really catch up. So that's an important thing. I'd like to I'm doing it a little. I'm not doing particularly well, but you can see my vector is about there. I'm giving lead in front of him rather than going at him. because otherwise I'll never get to him. Atomic's doing a good job of getting back to the Aleutians. That's fine. So Tail, because he didn't allow enough lead, just can't get enough range close to him. Missile, I mean, very lucky that Hornet. If Tail was 100 meters ahead, that would have been a kill. And now he's in a chase with a Hornet that had a head start, and the F5 isn't going to win that. That's a Mach 1.6 fighter, that's a Mach 1.8 fighter, and that's got a lot more power to weight ratio, so that's going to win every day. I've put a missile out. Obviously I'm 3 times further behind than that missile can go, but I'm just trying to scare him with a launch warning, hoping that he'll lose his nerve. It doesn't work. So we're charging in now. Tail's got 700 knots, but this thing is now 750 knots. It's maxing out the speed. Notice the difference in the speed of that and the F-15. The F-15 is much more powerful. Also, the F-15 has dynamic movable variable intake geometry. The F-18 doesn't. Hence, the F-18 is stuck at how fast it can go. And it's just not as powerful. The F-15 can basically go as fast as it likes with its variable intake geometry and with its superior power. You see, I'm up to 850 knots. He's stuck at 750, so I'm catching him. Problem is, I'm not catching him fast enough. So we call in our last line of defense. That's Atomic. And the mistake Atomic makes again is he doesn't reckon on the speed of the Hornet. What Atomic wanted to do was put a lovely big lead in his travel in front of him. Then he could have caught him. But instead he chased directly for the target, and it means he's not going to be able to catch up. He's left behind. When we're dealing with such fast fighters, you've got to put a massive lead on everything. This is how Riddle always manages to shoot down the AWACSes when he's doing his thing. When he comes in for his Mach 2.5 attack on the AWACSes, no one can get to him because they don't put enough lead on their missiles or their assault. So it's a thing to take away and learn. Now let's have a look at the ranges. So he's firing from about 7 miles away. Yeah, that's possibly a hit, maybe slightly ambitious, but he's going to take every chance he can, so that's perfectly fine. That missile's going in. It's going for the last MD, and MD is chaffing and evasive manoeuvres. And I don't think it's the chaff. Well, maybe it is the chaff. I don't know. One way or another, it managed to fool that missile, so we're happy with that. The rest of us charging in. Tail 700 knots, but he just can't catch up. I'm 900 knots now, and it shows the power difference. So I'm over 100 knots faster than the F-18 now, and absolutely belting along here. Another missile out, 4 miles. That is a kill shot. One way or another, that is a kill shot. It would be less than 4 miles if it was the requirement for killing would be less than 4 miles if it was chasing a fast target, but this is a slow target. So 4 or 5 miles is, I would expect, the limit on a small target. If I was within that limit, that is going to be a hit. And Piao lasers. Bye. See you later. And that is this guy hit. What he didn't reckon on is how well built these Aleutians are. And it sucked the missile up and lost a couple of engines, but carried on flying, which is beautiful. And now Warren runs into the S-300. They just left their attack too late. Warren took off too late from the base, and we were saved by our S-300, which has come in and taka pow, got him. And that missile is not self-guarding missile, so this missile is just a dead missile now. It requires the mother radar of the Hornet to track, so that is good. So we were saved a lot of embarrassment there, because if that S-300 hadn't fired when it did, these would all have died basically. We couldn't have caught that Hornet before it aim-9'd all of these down. So that was close. And look how fast! I got 940 knots out of the bird, fully loaded. So that was it was impressive speed, but it just shows, yeah, if the guy gets a head start, you just can't catch him up. We're in now. An error. It was not a very good match from Tail. Tail fires now, even though the Hornet had been blown up ages ago. Tail fires, and obviously the first thing that is going to do is lock onto the nearest heat source, because that Hornet is no longer a thing anymore. It's just little pieces of metal, and it locks onto one of these guys and shoots one of these down. But luckily, all of the Aleutians survive. So extreme luck from the Blues in that 2 MiG-21s dropped out. The Hornet messed its run up. The S-300 helped us out, and the Illusion sucked up 2 missiles. So the big man upstairs helped us out there. And that's it. All 3 illusions go in land. The 1 F5 lands, Cap lands. Tail just crashes into the ground because, I don't know, he wants to. No idea why. Trash and Evil, the German efficient meat machine, make it back and land. Helicopters, 1 crashes, I think, and 1 just gets bored and gives up. Simple as that. Right, I think we've been through all our lessons there. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you later.